Hello, everybody. My name is Christopher Martin, and I think it's about time that I started sharing this journey that I'm on, still on. Um, but first, much gratitude and many thanks go to the people of MD Stem Cells, CEO Dr. Stephen Levy and COO Dr. Jeffrey Weiss, um, the workers or volunteers or other staff. I don't know. Thank you. So, I had a hemorrhagic stroke April 14th, 2016, during a neurosurgery for a cavernomatous malformation or an arteriovenous malformation. We can talk more about that later. And we can talk more about the hemorrhagic strokes. But I went straight into atrophy and spasticity, which there's no cure across the world in medical records. All my muscles died. The blood flow went away, and my right side was turning neuropathy. I was going to be dead, and I don't, who knows? Not very long, and I didn't want to die. I felt there's something that I had to do. I don't know what it was. So I started working out July 10th, 2019, every day, 2 times a day, about 5 hours. And I did that for a year and a quarter. And then I became involved with this governmental clinical trial held by MD Stem Cells. So they wanted to test the efficacies of my adult stem cells. There's no embryonic stem cells. Those are illegal in the United States for human use. So they used adult autologous mesenchymal stem cells, my adult stem cells, or your adult stem cells, whoever's. So I went down to Florida, where I was held at, and I met Dr. Jeffrey Weiss. I think Sean was the nurse anesthetist, I think, but they aspirated bone marrow out of the back of my hip and spun it in a centrifuge and fractioned off adult autologous mesenchymal stem cells, my adult stem cells. So it took one big cannula intravenously, and then two small cannulas with rubber tips I'd place my nares one at a time, and I'd breathe 7 times on each side, because they believed that the stem cells would actually cross the blood-brain barrier. 99.999% of anything you ever take in your body is either defecated or urinated out. Nothing goes up to the brain except for micronutrients. So they told me 3 to 6 months I should feel the stem cells. I should call 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months. And I didn't call any of those months. I didn't think anything was going on. I didn't have anything to write home about. But the 7th month, April 3rd, 2021, like 5 o'clock in the morning at the local gym, I set my keys down and I jumped for the first time in almost 5 years. You got to remember, people who have a devastating stroke like me, there's no way they can jump. All their muscles are gone. They have a drop foot. They have hemiparesis, hemiplegia. There's no way. I jumped. I bawled my eyes out. I bawled my eyes out all the way home, and I bawled them out probably 50 times since that day. But I called Dr. Stephen Levy later on in the morning. He's the CEO of the medical research company, MD Stem Cells. And I told him I jumped. He said this. He goes, look, you can work out all you want to. We don't know if it'll get you anything. And across the world in medical records, nobody's ever gotten out of spasticity and atrophy. And it's not just in strokes, it's in Parkinson's, cerebral palsy, ALS, SMA, spinal muscular atrophy, MS, MD, muscular dystrophy, TBI. I don't know what other ones, but all of them deal with spasticity and atrophy, and no one's ever been able to reverse their prognosis and diagnosis until now. So he goes, you can try these stem cells. We think they might get you something. But, he said, but if you do both these things simultaneously at the same time, they'll grab each other's hands, crawl up into your brain, and go down and create a new pathway. They become synergistic with each other. So obviously that, it proves that they're brilliant people over there in MD Stem Cells. I didn't really know what synergy meant in a way, so I've seen it in gas stations, synergy drinks, blah, blah, blah. But it's when one business buys a second business to equal or to make a more profitable and promising, prosperous third-party business synergy. In the human population, I guess it's really only down to two people. Two short people will climb on each other's shoulders to grab an apple out of a tree. It's synergy, it's cooperation. It wouldn't work if one of those people decided to stay home. So Dr. Levy and Dr. Weiss, I don't know whoever thought of it, had always hypothesized that one person can gain a synergistic-like state. And I think I'm that person. I mean, it's, I don't know. Infants to adults is about 20 years. I'm 5'10", 150, 60 pounds. I lost all viable tissue in my right side. I was going into rigor mortis, basically. I am now regenerating muscle and blood flow and tissue in probably a span of 4.5 years, not the 20 years that it originally took me. Now, granted, I'm not regenerating bone, I don't need that, but all the muscle is regenerating back on. You can see my arm is bigger. The fingers are more relaxed, So the stem cells have pretty much put on my large primary muscle groups. The upper thigh, the buttock, the stomach, the back, the chest, somewhat of the shoulder, and it's still regenerating there a ton. But they have since radiated out and down my arm and down my legs, so my fingers and toes will be the very last to fully get them. But as of last year, I felt my fingers for the first time in 7.5 years, because my fingers were always clenched in a fist. I didn't have any muscle. Everything was, it's terrible. So, well, this is the end of the first video. Thank you once again. And I'll post the next one here very soon. Bye.